What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am back to do my 2020 NBA Playoffs Conference Semifinal predictions. Now, with the first round of the NBA Playoffs in the books this evening, we are now into the Conference Semifinal round of the NBA Playoffs, and we will find out which 4 teams will punch their ticket to their respective conference finals. So I am extremely excited to do my Conference Semifinal predictions of the 2020 NBA Playoffs for you guys this evening, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into the Conference Semifinals this year after a very good first round, we went a perfect 8-0, so we're coming in extremely hot, and I'm looking to keep it that way. So hopefully in this video we will continue the red hot winning ways and get another postseason winning record. Hopefully. And hopefully you guys will be able to watch this video and all the videos that I put up on the channel in the month of September. And as always, show your support by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your NBA teams in the comment sections down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel today, guys, as a first-time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, pick the good one if you're a huge fan of the NBA like myself, and you're ready for the conference semifinals of the 2020 NBA playoffs. Welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is... Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these conference semifinal predictions. Let's start off in the Eastern Conference with the first Eastern Conference semifinal showdown between the Milwaukee Bucks facing the Miami Heat. Now, this series has already started, and Miami has taken a commanding 2-0 lead. Now, this is only the second postseason meeting between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. The Heat won the last postseason meeting against the Bucks all the way back in the 2013 Eastern Conference first round. Now, starting off with the Milwaukee Bucks first, they're coming off their first round victory in 5 games over the Orlando Magic. Let me just say something about the Magics. Vujacic is going to be the star there, and hopefully Gordon will stay healthy, and Fournier hopefully comes back from that injury. But the Magics will be back next year. But the Bucks got it done, and the Bucks are back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the second consecutive season, and they're looking to punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since last year, and they're looking to exercise that demon. But first, they have got to come back from this 2-0 deficit. I mean, I did not see Milwaukee being down 2-0 in this series. I really thought this series was going to go 1-1 after Game 2, but Miami found a way to win Game 2 tonight, and the Bucks are in the hole, and they're looking to get back on the winning track, because when you got players like Giannis and Brooke and Robin Lopez twins, Chris Middleton, Wesley Matthews, Eric Bledsoe, this team needs to be getting back on track, and they got to invoke that fear-to-dear mentality to their opponents. They're excited to have the Miami Heat coming off their 4-game sweep of the Indiana Pacers in the first round. Let me just say something about the Pacers. Pacers are going to be back next year for sure. T.J. Warren was a monster in the bubble, and hopefully they keep Victor Oladipo. But the Pacers will be back next year. But the Heat got it done, and the Heat are back in the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2016. And the Heat are looking to punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2014. And the Heat right now are on a hot streak. I mean, they are literally turning up the heat, no pun intended, on the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, Game 1 was a prime example with Jimmy Butler's 40 points and Goran Dragic, the Dragon, getting those 3-pointers after threes. And it showed up again in Game 2. Dragic had a big-time game, and Miami won 116-114. So the Heat are right now in the driver's seat, and they're looking to keep the pedal to the metal. So coming from me in this first Eastern Conference semifinal showdown to see who will punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, this series is definitely going to go 6. I can see the series going 6, maybe 7. But coming from me, this Bucks team is bound and determined to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals after falling short last year. And being down 2-0 is really going to make this Bucks team a lot more dangerous. So coming from me, I may get this one wrong, but I am going to go with Giannis and the Bucks to come back from this 2-0 deficit and defeat the Miami Heat and punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And now the final Eastern Conference Semifinal showdown, pitting the Boston Celtics facing the reigning NBA champions, the Toronto Raptors. Now this series has also already started, and Boston has a commanding 2-0 lead as well over the reigning NBA champs. Now starting off with the Celtics first, they're coming off their 4-game sweep in the first round of the Philadelphia 76ers. And let me just say something about the Sixers first. Thank God they got rid of the coach, even though he really started to trust the process thing, but he just sucked in the postseason. And hopefully, if Philadelphia is smart, they will get the Villanova head coach to coach them, because it would be a match made in heaven, and the Philadelphia Sixers will be back next year. But the Celtics got it done, and the Celtics are back in the Eastern Conference Semifinals for the first time since last year, and they're looking to punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 2 years. Now, this Celtics team is coming in up 2-0 against the reigning NBA champions without their star player Gordon Hayward, who had an ankle sprain in the first round, and he's been out for 4 weeks. And if the Celtics want him back, they're going to need to win this series and possibly get to the NBA Finals. But even with Gordon Hayward out, this Celtics team has caught on fire with players like Kemba Walker, who they picked up from Charlotte and has been paying dividends for the Celtics. You got Marcus Smart, who I watched at Oklahoma State. You got Jason Tatum, who stepped up. And the Celtics team is looking to pull off a huge upset and knock the reigning NBA champs out. They're excited of the Toronto Raptors coming off their first-round victory in a 4-game sweep over the Brooklyn Nets. And let me just say something about the Nets. They'll be back next year, and next year they'll have KD in the lineup. They'll have Kyrie in the lineup, and they will not be an 8. They will definitely not be a 7 seed. They'll definitely be a higher seed next year. But the Raptors are coming in a hole. They're down 2-0 in this series, and it seems like that drive that they had last year, getting to the Eastern Conference Semifinals and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second consecutive year, is slowly closing. That window is closing of trying to be the first team since the Miami Heat back in 2012 and 2013 to repeat. So that window of repeating as NBA champions for the Raptors right now is really closing, and it's getting faster. And the Raptors definitely got to step up if they want to win this series. So coming from me, in this final Eastern Conference Semifinal showdown to see who will punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals this year. I said Eastern Conference Finals this year, excuse me. This one's tough. I did not see Boston being up 2-0 against the Raptors in this series. I really didn't. So coming from me, I may get this one wrong, but you know what? What the hell? I'm going to go with Kemba Walker and the Boston Celtics to defeat the reigning NBA champions, the Toronto Raptors, and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 2 years. So my Eastern Conference Finals will be the Milwaukee Bucks facing the Boston Celtics. And now on to the Western Conference with the first Western Conference Semifinal showdown between the Los Angeles Lakers facing the Houston Rockets. Now this is the 9th postseason meeting between the Lakers and the Rockets. The Lakers lead the postseason series 5-3. Now the Lakers have won the last 3 postseason meetings against the Rockets, dating all the way back to 1999, 2004, and their last meeting back in the Western Conference Semifinals in 2009. And the Rockets' last victory over the Lakers, and listen to this folks, was the 1996 Western Conference first round. So the Rockets haven't beaten the Lakers since MJ came back from retirement. Now, starting off with the Lakers first, they're coming off their series win in 5 games in the first round over the Portland Trailblazers. Let me just say something about the Trailblazers. You got to give them a round of applause for what they did to get that final 8 seed, to scratch and claw in that bubble, to being out of the bubble, out of the 8 spot, to being the 8th seed, winning that play-in tournament, and then coming into this game. But they just ran into a huge buzzsaw. But I gotta give huge shout outs to the Bonafide Heat and TGTV Tank Mode, who are 2 of my good friends who are Portland Trailblazers fans. Rip City will be back next year, guys. And I'm telling you, they will not be an 8th seed next year. But the Lakers got it done, and the Lakers are back in the Western Conference Semifinals for the first time since 2011. And they are looking to end a losing streak in the Western Conference Semifinals. Now, here's a dangerous fact. Since their last Western Conference Semifinal series win back in 2010, the Lakers are 0-2 in the conference semifinals. So they're looking to end this losing streak here and now. And they're also looking to punch their ticket back to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2010, which was Kobe Bryant's last NBA title title with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this Lakers team is still the #1 team in the Western Conference for a reason. They got it done. LeBron James stepped up. Anthony Davis stepped up. And they are looking to continue their road to their 17th NBA title and winning it for the late, great Kobe Bryant. They're excited to have the Houston Rockets coming off their big win in Game 7 tonight over the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. And let me just say something about the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got to give them a round of applause too, because if you saw that thing on ESPN, they had a 0.01 chance of making the playoffs this year, and they found a way to do it, and they just fell short in Game 7. But Billy Donovan has got to be respected for what he did for this team. I mean, Chris Paul's career is definitely rejuvenated once again. But the Rockets got it done, and the Rockets are back in the conference semifinals for the second year in a row, and they're looking to punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2018. And once again, the Rockets are looking to prove me wrong. I have been saying it for the last 3 years, that the Rockets are a fantastic regular season team. But when it comes to the playoffs, they find a way to choke. And even if they have all the greatest players in the world, they seem to choke when it matters the most, and that's in the playoffs. Even if they have Russell Westbrook and James Harden and Eric Gordon and Robert Covington and PJ Tucker, this team just finds a way to screw themselves and lose. I mean, if you saw that Game 6 game against the Thunder, Russell Westbrook nearly cost the Rockets the whole season and that Game 6 loss. But the Rockets found a way to get it done tonight in Game 7 where it matters the most. And the Rockets are looking to defeat the Lakers for the first time in the postseason since Michael Jordan's coming out of retirement. So it's been a long time for this franchise. And really, if the Rockets don't win this series, Kevin McHale has got to go. So coming from me in this first Western Conference Semifinals showdown to see who will make it to the Western Conference Finals this year, oh man, this one's going to be good. LeBron and Anthony Davis versus Harden and Westbrook. This one's going to be like a clash of titans. But I can see the series going 6, maybe 7. But coming from me, I will do this. If the Rockets beat the Lakers in this series, I will personally guarantee, and I am a man of my word, I will guarantee you, I will pick the Houston Rockets to win the Western Conference Finals. Even if they're an underdog or if they're to have no chance in hell, I will pick them. And I am a man of my word. So Houston Rockets, you have a chance to get on my good side and quite possibly have me pick your team to win the Western Conference Finals. But coming from me, I'm making this one wrong, but I'm going to go for it. I am going to go with LeBron and Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers to get it done and defeat the Houston Rockets and advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 10 years. And now the final Western Conference Semifinal showdown to see who will punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals between the Denver Nuggets facing the Los Angeles Clippers. Now this is only the second postseason meeting between the Clippers and the Nuggets. The Clippers won the last postseason meeting over the Nuggets all the way back in the 2006 Western Conference first round. Now starting off with the Nuggets first, they're coming back from a 3-1 deficit in the first round to win Game 7's game yesterday over the Utah Jazz in the first round. And the Nuggets are back in the Western Conference semifinals for the second consecutive season, and they're looking to punch their ticket back to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2009. Now, this Nuggets team really had to scratch and claw to win that series over the Jazz. And let me just say something about the Jazz. The way that game ended yesterday in Game 7, that ball went in and out of the rim, was the most heartbreaking moment for that Jazz's franchise. I mean, from years of being in the finals with Malone and Stockton and Ostertag and Jerry Sloan, and then having that opportunity to shut down the Nuggets after blowing a 3-1 lead, being the 12th team to blow a 3-1 deficit in the NBA playoffs. That had to be the most heartbreaking moment for that Jazz's franchise. But I'm telling you, take note, folks, the Jazz will be back next year better and stronger. But the Nuggets got it done, and this Nuggets team went through hell and high water to win Game 7 because they nearly lost that game. But Nikola Jokic stepped up, Paul Millsap stepped up, Jamal Murray stepped up, Will Barton, Gary Harris, and this Nuggets team is looking to pull off a huge upset. They're excited of the Los Angeles Clippers coming off their first round series win in 6 games over the Dallas Mavericks. And let me just say something about the Mavericks. This Mavericks team next year is going to be so good. I mean, when you got Luka Doncic and Porzingis, and I know my good friend on Twitter, Brian at King_Doncic, who's a huge Mavericks fan, this team is on the rise and they're on the way up. But the Clippers got it done, and the Clippers are back in the conference semifinals for the first time since 2015, and they're looking to end a long franchise losing streak. Now, here is a huge dangerous fact. The the Clippers are 0-7 combined in the conference semifinals. And when I say combined, they have lost 3 times as the Buffalo Braves back in the 1970s before they were the Los Angeles Clippers. And they have lost 4 times as the Los Angeles Clippers. So this franchise has been losing in the conference semifinals for years. And they're looking to end this long losing streak. And they're looking to punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. Now this Clippers team got it done. They played a very good Dallas Mavericks team, but they got it done with on the back of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Beverly and Ivica Zubac and, well, Marcus Morris, who I think really was a dirty piece of shit what he did in that Mavericks series. And honestly, I hope he doesn't play in this series because he's playing like he's got a bounty on somebody. But this Clippers team is bound and determined to punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. And they're going to do whatever it takes to win. They're almost the bad boys of the NBA playoffs this year. So, coming from me, in this final Western Conference semifinal showdown to see who will punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals, this series may not be a long one. I can see the series going 6, maybe 5, because the Nuggets are going to be totally exhausted after coming back from 3-1 down, and then the Game 7 game against the Jazz. They're going to be absolutely exhausted. So coming from me, I am going to go with Kawhi and the Clippers to defeat the Denver Nuggets and punch their ticket to their first Western Conference Finals in franchise history. So my Western Conference Finals showdown will be the Battle of LA between the Los Angeles Lakers facing the Los Angeles Clippers. And those are my 2020 NBA Playoffs Conference Semifinal predictions. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Comment below. Who do you see winning these 4 conference semifinal showdowns in the East? Who do you see making it to the Eastern Conference Finals? And who do you see going into the Western Conference Finals? Let me know who you got. Do you see any upsets happening? And as always, represent your NBA teams in the comments section. Even if they got eliminated in the first round or they didn't make the playoffs at all, still represent them. Let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course reply right back to you because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. And I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching my conference semifinal predictions of the 2020 NBA playoffs this evening. Now, before you guys go, as always, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, guys can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button to become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, become part of this dangerous alliance, and I will see you guys later this week for another big video. Later days, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and stay safe, and peace.